Next performer is Jill White with her story, So Now What Do I Do? So, yeah.
You see, the title fit right in. I was like, now what am I going to do? She hasn't introduced me. And that's been a question I've often asked myself. So now what am I going to do? And the first one is, I'm not an immigrant. Do I look like one? I was born and raised in the city of Compton. No, just kidding, Leimert Park. But my therapist, every time I go to see her, she has me do an assessment test while I'm waiting in the lobby. And then she looks at it and she sees the results. And she says, Miss Jill, according to the results, you are on the borderline of being bipolar. You're beyond the borderline of depression, anxiety, and then when it comes to cognitive behavioral pattern, you're on the borderline. And I said, I am not on the borderline. I'm not an immigrant, and I hope you didn't call Donald. Okay, I always like to start off with a joke. Anyway, I have a personality disorder. And I have a personality disorder because I really do have depression. I have anxiety. And I'm a compulsive debtor and under-earner. And my husband doesn't like that part right there. And I have attention deficit disorder. And that's because I have low self-esteem. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. I'm going to tell you what it was like when I was adolescent. What happened in my childhood and what it's like today that I'm an adult. When I was an adolescent, I mean, there's so many stories I could tell you, so I'm just going to highlight a few. I started watching a lot of TV. And that was because I was home alone. My brothers and sisters are much older than me, and my mother had problems with the pregnancy, so my sister raised me my first couple of years, and she was 10. And I know that's like, what? She was 10 and she raised it? Yeah, because my mother had problems with the pregnancy. Then, when I got her age, her and my brother and sister that were twins, they were out of the house. So I was home alone. That movie hadn't come out yet, though. And it hurt me, because a lot of people would often ask me, oh, you're an only child? And I go, no, my brothers and sisters are just a whole lot older than me. And we lived in a big house, so I just wandered around and I watched TV. And I wanted my life to be like it was on TV. The only show that I knew that couldn't be a reality for me was The Little Rascals and Little House on the Prairie. Now, when I went to elementary school, let me bring back some memory I'm sure you all could relate to. You remember how we used to do our hair? We used to wear 1 or 2 ponytails and have bangs in the front. You remember that, right? It's either parted down the middle or parted on the side. Well, I hated that because I couldn't. My hair wasn't long enough. And I would have anxiety attacks before I went to school because I didn't look like everybody else. And on top of that, I was tall, so I had bad posture, and I still do. I felt less than. And I always went to school not too far out of my area, but my neighbors didn't go to the same school as I did. And they were older than me, too. So anyway, when I'm trying to get over here to back in my day, I'm going to tell my age. You guys call it middle school now. I called it junior high school. My mother asked me to do some chores, and one in particular was to take the dishes out of the dishwasher, and then she said, put them in a box. And I said, what? I said, first of all, my brothers and sisters, when they was here, they did the chores. Now you want me to do them, and you want me to take the dishes out of the dishwasher and put them in a box? Shouldn't they go in the cabinet? And she said, no, just do what I tell you, put them in a box. I said, but why? What? Why? And she said, because me and your father are getting a divorce and we're relocating. And I said, wait a minute, what show was that on? Because Ozzy and Harry didn't get a divorce. Lucy and Ricky didn't sleep in the same bed. So what's happening here? I didn't get that. And then, like I said, I was going to junior high school. So another drama for me was I no longer would have one teacher, I would have 6. And they all would be talking about 6 different things. So that was kind of hard there. And then dealing with them and relocated. And where we relocated to, everybody didn't have a tan like me. And so I had to fit in with them. But you know, when you go to junior high school, the excitement about the hair then is you no longer have to wear it in ponytails. You can wear it down, straight down your back. But I couldn't do that. But back then, which some of you, I can't really see you probably don't know, but there was a Vidal Sassoon. I asked my father for $100, was going to get me a haircut. But you know, that's not my culture. And my hair isn't naturally straight. So I pressed it before I got there, and they cut it, but the next day it didn't look the same. I couldn't fit in. I thought, how am I going to make myself feel better? So what am I going to do now? I said, I know it'll make me feel better. I'll act like my brothers and sisters. I'll quit getting that contact high, and I smoke the joint myself. I roll up my own joint. So that's when I started smoking dope. I started smoking weed, and it didn't make me feel better. Got me kind of high, felt a little different, but it didn't solve my hair being short, me being tall, and then me then having acne on my face. Those things still happen for me. But my girlfriend has a beauty salon and she makes wigs. And then I found out about, y'all don't know, about Fashion Fair. They call it MAC now. And I just wear flat shoes because I can't cut off my ankles and make myself shorter. And I still haven't found a man that I feel comfortable wearing high heels around. So these are things that I had to deal with, and it gave me depression, it gave me anxiety, and people weren't doing what I saw on TV, and they weren't following my script either, the way that I thought my life should be. So when I got to high school, I said, okay, Jill, things are going to get better because you see it on TV that when people graduate from high school, they get married, they have children, 2.5, and get a house and a white picket fence. So things will get better for you when you graduate. The problem wasn't that I barely graduated. It was, because remember I said my parents got divorced, so my family's dysfunctional. My brothers and sisters at that time were in their late 20s, and neither one of them was married or had children. I said, oh, that just don't happen in this family. And it was right, it didn't. I didn't have a child till I was 37. I had to deal with that for a long time because I had a whole lot of sex without birth control. So I just thought, wow, I can't do that either. So I started smoking cocaine when I was 22 because I said, okay, well, maybe the advantage I have is that I don't have children. I got a car, though. I have a job, and that should make people want me more. And then especially if I got this cocaine, everybody gonna want to hang around me. And they did for the cocaine, not for me. But you know what? Nobody could love me the way I wanted to be loved because I didn't love myself. And I later found out in the self-help groups that is PTSD. And I know you're probably thinking post-traumatic stress disorder. In my culture, that's post-traumatic slavery disorder. We become slave to men. We become slave to the men that aren't available to us. We just keep going after those that aren't available to us and keep trying to buy them. And you know which man wasn't available to me that I was going after? And I thought it would make me feel better? It was your husband. See, that's twisted thinking, right? That is very twisted thinking. That's a personality disorder. I told you I had a whole bunch of personality disorder. Because I try to be so many different people, because whatever I would feel that you wanted me to be, I try to be that person. I wasn't trying to be me. I retired from AT&T, and I was so good at that because you had to have a personality disorder because all the different people called you on the phone. You know the story, right? And I was a member of the President's Club every year because I was good with my personality disorders. But when I had to retire early because I had to take care of my parents, all my truth started coming out. I'm in my late 50s, and menopause hit me. And I had idle time, and everything else that I had been covering up started coming out. I was covering them up because I now have 23 years clean and sober. I stopped using cocaine when I was 32, but I didn't really deal with what was going on with me. But I found out because I got a spiritual connection, and my spiritual connection is with a power greater than myself. And when I surrendered to him, he did the seemingly impossible. He took me off that cocaine that had me trapped. And he said, it's not all that hard to live. Thank you. And he says, all you have to do is do what I tell you. He said, I don't make no mistakes. He said, don't let the enemy take you out. That personality disorder you have, yeah, you have multiple, because the enemy is going to come at you in multiple ways, but nothing too hard for me. And he said, I'm within you. So he said, it's as simple as the ABCs, Jill. And I said, the ABCs, what you talking about? And he says, well, it goes a little something like this. He said, with the A, I want you to accept this life that I gave you. It's a blessing. I know what I'm doing. I said, okay, I'll accept it. He said, and with the B, I want you to do and be the best that you can do, and I'll do the rest. I said, okay. And he said, well, though with the C, you got to combine these words with action, because faith without works is dead. I don't want you to just sit and become a couch potato. I said, okay. He said, and I want you with the D to dedicate your life to your hopes, your dreams, and your ambitions, however far-fetched everybody else might think they are. He said, because you know I can do the seemingly impossible. I got you off that cocaine, didn't I? I said, yeah, you're right, Father. He said, yeah, because with the E, you know I'm good at exceeding your expectations. I said, yeah, you're right. He said, and how did I do it? He said, with the F, because you had faith in me. You surrendered to me. And I said, you're right. He said, because with the G, you got me on your side. And right now with the H, because I was so good to you, I want you to have a made-up mind with the I to inspire somebody else. With the J, to join me on their journey of life. So with the K, I can keep on keeping on. I said, keep on keeping on doing what? He said, with the L, let my light shine in their life every day so I can guide them on their way. Because with the M, I make the seemingly impossible possible. And I'm amazing and miraculous. I said, yes, you are. He said, that's because with the N, you no longer have to say you can't. With the O, overcome any obstacle that comes your way, including mental health. Because do any of us look like we got mental health problems? I thought those were wacky people who had that, but no, it's us. And we're here to share with you how we've overcome that obstacle, because I don't know about them, but with the P, I put God first. I let him be the boss of me, because trying to do things my way just don't work. Because with the Q, he said, Jill, quit quitting. And with the R, run this race with patience. I said, now, Father, you know I ain't good at that. He said, I know, but with that S, he said, stand strong. And with the T, trust me. And I said, okay. He said, with the U, use your ideas. I said, mine? He said, yeah, just tell me about them, but I'm going to exceed your expectations. I'm going to do something else because yours are a joke. But with the V, value every bit of your time on earth. And with the W, wave your hands at your haters and praise me. And with the Y, yearn to achieve. And with the Z, zealously strive to achieve your goals. He said, you know why? I said, because you a good God. And that's my brave. Yeah. And thank you. And God's not prejudiced. It's not just women, I know you heard us first, that struggle with mental health issues. It's the men too.